on. There we go. We've got Facebook and the crew. Apologies in advance if Tilly comes up. I'm at the dining table. She's meowing. She's being fed. And usually as soon as the light comes on, as soon as I start speaking, she hasn't bothered me all day. She'll just be like clambering about. Me camera will go over. Me ring light will stack it. There'll just be absolute carnage. So apologies if that happens. Now, hello, Steph. How are you? I'm really, really excited to chat to you about this. I would love for your thoughts, opinions about this idea of punishing your clients or feeling like you are punishing your clients by scaling back, dropping hours, raising prices, enforcing policies, etc., etc. Just any idea of punish. There's some element of like your clients are losing, you're punishing them. And I think, there's that old saying, the customer's always right. Are they? I've been a customer many times and I've been absolutely, completely wrong. I think so many of us keep saying yes when it comes to our clients. We are yes people. Many of us would identify as people pleasers. And this idea that you have to keep everything the same that your clients have come to expect. So you have to do the same or better, the same or more, make more available to these clients. And whether that is keeping the same service menu, the same opening hours, the same pricing, the same packaging, and anything that we're changing from there just doesn't feel good to us. And I think that's totally wrong. I'm going to tell you why. And I've been pondering on this for a bit. So I am certain I've used this analogy before, but for anyone who hasn't heard it, I have been driving since I was 20 and I am now 34. And I have been going to the same garage in Heaton, Newcastle, for my MOTs for the last 14 years. And can anyone relate to having this length of relationship with a person whose name they do not know? I have no idea what this guy's called. Like, I recognize him in context. If I see him there, I'm like, oh, you're right, pal. I used to drive a imported Japanese camper van, which was quite unusual, and he would recognize me by my car, by my van. I feel like if I saw him outside of the MOT garage, I'd probably be like, I think I recognize this guy, but I wouldn't be able to place it, right? So I've been going this guy for 14 years. I've been like a very, very loyal customer, but I pay him full price. And we know absolutely nothing about each other. Like, I don't even know this guy's name. I don't think he knows my name. I've got a new car. If I drove up with it now, he might go, oh, you're the one with the tires. And that's about it. We know nothing about each other's lives. We know nothing about each other's hardships, about each other's traumas, about each other's relationships, about each other's families. I didn't know how Christmas was or that stressful, christening or whatever. We know absolutely nothing about each other. And I think that we're in this sort of weird position, aren't we, in the hair and beauty industry? We're a service-based business, which is exactly what his is. He trades time for money. There's an element of tools that he uses. There's maybe stock that he uses. He fills up me oil or me antifreeze or whatever it is he actually does. It's very similar. He's not working on me physically, but imagine it'd be the same if you go to a dog room and you're still paying time for money for this person to do this job with your beloved dog. We probably don't really know that much about them. I don't imagine you have the same level of relationship that we can have with clients behind the chair. I have moved twice further away from him, and I still go to him. After 14 years, there is still this level of loyalty. I don't live nearby. I still take my car to him, and I still did when it became less convenient to me, and there's heaps of places that I could go much nearer to me, but I don't. I continue to go there. I don't look for someone nearer. I don't look for someone cheaper. I just go to him because I'm loyal to him. I'm happy with the transaction. I'm happy with the price that he charges. He does a good job, and I trust him. And I think actually the trust is something that's super important. I've got an existing relationship with him, albeit it's nowhere near as deep as what we get with our clients. And I think we're so unique in our industry because we have this depth and this texture of relationship that many other businesses and even other service businesses just don't have. And we tend to be, and this is as humans, not just as service providers, but humans tend to be really reciprocal. So reciprocity is I do something, you do something back. Have you ever been given a Christmas card or a present or a wedding invite from someone you weren't expecting it from, or that's not normally the dynamic, and you thought to yourself, oh man, now I have to do that back. Oh God, I didn't get them something. I remember in my family home, we would have like just in case presents. So we'd have just like chocolates and bottles of wine and stuff just in case anyone turned up with a present that we weren't expecting. Because humans are like very deeply reciprocal. Like we need to feel like there's an even scoreboard. We hate this idea of owing someone something, or feeling like they've given us something and we haven't matched it back. It's really quite a strange phenomenon. So often we see our clients' sort of loyalty, so them choosing us, is something that we owe them something back for. And I think this is what can really lead us to saying yes a lot of the time when we maybe would prefer to say no. This can build up feelings of guilt. So anyone hard relate to this. Feelings of guilt when doing something that in any other business would be absolutely normal, like a very bog standard, boring way of doing business in anyone else's business, to us makes us feel terrified and really guilty. So things like doing a price increase. I have helped many thousands of people do price increases, and the guilt, oh my goodness, the feelings it brings up. I probably once a week I have someone who is, crying on a voice note or in a Facebook group, like really working themselves up into this really like quite emotional state. And I totally get it. I was behind the chair for 12 years. And for the first maybe 5 or 6, I was in the exact same boat, and I wasn't charging properly. And I was really like emotionally driven and very people pleasery, and felt like I really owed my clients and was really indebted to them. So I really empathize. I've really been there as well. So just things that are normal in other people's businesses, to us feel massively emotionally charged, like laden with guilt. And really something akin to being chased by like a saber-toothed tiger. Absolutely terrifying. So price increases, asking for a deposit, charging someone for not showing up or for being, so late that you couldn't do the service, telling them that you can't do half the service because they're now 20 minutes late, dropping services, like deciding that you're not going to do, let's say, like dry cuts, kids cuts. You might not do like polish on nails or pedicures or whatever, related to the work that you do. Dropping any sort of hours, so, dropping a Saturday, dropping evenings, whatever that is. These can all feel like a punishment, like we're hurting our clients, we're punishing them. And especially when you've kind of got this mentality of like, it's a good client, like this client has been so good to me, this client has done X, Y, and Z for me, so now I owe them something back. Especially with clients who've been with you for years, who followed you to different locations. I was a serial little nomad, and I moved and moved and moved. I got eventually closer and closer to my home. And in a sense, I actually tried to do it I didn't try to do it to lose clients, but there was a hope that I would lose clients because I was super busy. And I didn't. They all followed me, they all kept following. But then I felt like indebted to them because I was like, God, you're traveling much further, you're driving through the Tyne Tunnel, it cost you £3.20. Like, do you know what I mean? All of these kind of stories that we tell ourselves. Maybe they came back to you after you took a period of time off. So maybe you were on maternity, maybe you were on a trip somewhere, maybe you were sick, had to have an operation or some treatment, and your clients waited for you and they came back. So that would like massively increase this feeling of, I owe these people, like I owe these people my life, they've done so much for me. And I think for all of us, whether you've had, whether you don't relate to that, for anyone who's been around since, prior to March 2020, I think the people that came back to us after the lockdown, or the people that supported you through lockdown, maybe they bought gift vouchers or products, maybe they, offered to pay a deposit, or, were sharing your posts, left your reviews. They did something in the lockdown to show their sort of support. And then they came back when they had maybe a choice to not do that. I think that skyrocketed this, this level of guilt, of reciprocity, of feeling like you owed them something, or that you just couldn't do anything to rock the boat, or, do anything that you might perceive to upset them. And it starts to feel really transactional, like they've done A, B, C for you, so you owe them X, Y, and Z to like even the score. And I want to be incredibly clear on this. What you owe them is the service that you deliver for the price that you charge for that service. That's it. They are a grown-ass adult, by the way, so let's be respectful of them. Let's be empowering of them, and let's treat them as an adult who can make adult decisions. and process information in an adult way. They can see what you are offering for the price that you are offering at, with the terms that you have set out and the consequences that you have outlined, i.e. like your policies, if they don't uphold these terms. And they are perfectly capable of understanding those, of agreeing to those, of booking in and paying you. And that is the transaction. Like, that is it. They pay you, you do the service. We're even Stevens, right? A line is drawn under it. There is no more like they don't owe you anymore, or you don't owe them anymore. Beyond that, it is purely this exchange, right? This agreed exchange, this transaction. And this is how we need to start thinking about what we do. And it's not about being cold or being emotionless or losing the heart and the warmth and everything that makes us really wonderful and, great to work with. And the reason that we came into this. Both can exist at the same time. You can care for your clients. You can genuinely give a shit about them, about their lives. You can take care of them, their hair, their nails, their skin, whatever it is that you do for them. And you can make logical decisions which are in the best interests of your business. And I see so many people emotionally wrapped up in the business and their clients, right? Like this feeling of responsibility, like you are responsible for the emotions and the feelings of this other person. That is a recipe for disaster, by the way. In any dynamic, in any relationship, you are not responsible for the feelings or reactions of another person. Just FYI, full stop on that one. Like you're responsible for them. Like there's this feeling of sort of awkwardness, or this feeling, in the extreme way, if I'm punishing them, if I'm enforcing anything or changing anything or taking something away that they used to. Let me have a look in the comments. So Nora's saying, what about family? Friends, I can tell them to sod off, but family kind of guilt trip you to having treatments for free or for nothing. I have a great deal of experience in this. One, I would really encourage pretty much everyone to go to therapy and process this stuff with a therapist. Incredibly helpful. How are we? You probably need Hayley, who I think is watching this. Go and have a chat with Hayley, the resilient hairdresser. In fact, I'll tell you exactly why you can work with Hayley. You can work with her privately, and you can also work with her with me inside of Breakthrough. And this is why we have Hayley inside. These feelings of guilt, a person can't make you feel guilty. We feel guilty. We assign a feeling or a meaning to something. Some people have a really good knack of making us feel more guilty than others. But also I can decide I'm not going to feel that. I'm not going to allow this person to make me feel like this. I'm not going to put myself in a position to be, to allow myself to feel guilty. And if that is, a family dynamic where someone's going, oh, I'm absolutely skint and I just love to have my hair done. I'd feel amazing if I could have my hair done. That doesn't have to fall on you to do that, especially if it comes at a cost to you, which I'm going to cover in just a second, right? So I have this program called Breakthrough. I've been talking about it for the last week or so. The point of Breakthrough, it's been very specifically and specially designed for people who are fully booked, who are burning out, who are beyond capacity in every which way to drop 1 day a week behind the chair without sacrificing profits. That's the whole point. It's a group coaching program. It's a 6-month program where you work with me. You work with Hayley as well inside of there. And in there, we do so much work on this kind of stuff. So shifting from making these decisions from this emotional place, from this place of fear, this place of scarcity, this place of people pleasing, this place of reactionary, gut reactions, saying things before we've had a chance to think about them, not thinking about the consequences of things, and this really knee-jerk reaction place, which a lot of us operate from when we're in our business, which can cause a lot of problems. And instead we work to shift into this place of logic, this place where we strive for a win-win-win between you, your business, and your clients. And that is absolutely possible. And that is what we really, really aim for. Because at the minute, it's pretty much lose-lose-win. You're losing. Your business is probably losing in a few ways, but your client's winning. And it's not about the client losing so you can win. It's about how can we make it so everyone here wins. The business is okay, you're okay, the client's okay as well. And it's not easy. I'm not going to bullshit you. It's not easy at all. But it is so incredibly worthwhile to do. And what we see is it has this kind of ripple effect, because when you can do this work, yes, you apply to your business very much, but a lot of people tend to say that this, ripples out to the personal lives, to the relationships with their friends, with their families, with, their clients, whoever. And actually, sometimes the relationship with themselves becomes even better as well. Oh my goodness, here's Tilly coming up. Please don't climb up. So we're making these decisions from this place, not from being ruled by guilt and fear, but instead from competence, from confidence, and from clarity as well. So just really taking that sort of step back and just that breathing space as well. The strategy part is very easy. Tilly's here. The strategy part is the easiest part. The hardest part is standing firm in those boundaries and those decisions without reverting back to your own ways. Because sometimes it's easy to do it once. Sometimes you hit this sort of almost like a rock bottom where you're like, I will not be treated like this. Screw you. It's one time too many. I've been disrespected. But often that manifests as like not a very healthy way to process that. So it's like you'll then put a Facebook status on telling everyone that you're not working Saturdays and you're not going to be treated like this, or that you've got no choice but to ask everyone for deposits because too many people have messed you around or whatever. That's not a healthy way to deal with this, and that's not a very wise, in my opinion, way to like a position to operate your business from. So we do a lot of work on all of that sort of jazz. Just proper business head, taking a breather, taking a beat, and also having this space where you can come and do the reactionary thing and say, I'm raging about this has happened, but you've got this sort of space to get that out that isn't to your client. And then we kind of take a second and can help you to form a response, or just to think about it, or to get a little bit of clarity and look at your options and really play the tape forward and go, how is this going to, what will happen if I go down this route? What happens if I go down this route? And that's really magic as well, because it is really, really hard to do this on your own, because on our own, we tend to just be like this. You piss me off, now I'm going to show you. Or this person's pissed me off, and now I'm going to show everyone else. I'm going to tell everyone else off. And the other really cool thing about scaling things back, but in a sort of safe way, is that by becoming less available and more particular about the work that you do and the people that you work with, the hours that you work, being firm in your boundaries, being clearer in your communication, clearer in the consequences and things like that, is that actually more people want to work with you and more rockstar clients want to work with you. As like pricing is very counterintuitive. It's not what we think is going to happen. So think about these really desirable things. So recently, like Glastonbury's on pretty much every other year. I was really lucky. I got Glastonbury 50 tickets. It was postponed because of the lockdown, so it made it even like more special. I remember sitting trying to get the tickets. Oh my god, trying to get tickets for gigs, full stop, these days, it's like a whole thing. It's like a whole full-time job. Very, very recently, I got tickets for Taylor Swift. I was incredibly lucky to put my hoodie, my merch that I live in. I was able to see Taylor Swift when I was in LA last month. And honestly, like, the tickets were like freaking hen's teeth. So like the demand is insane. Like you just can't fathom how high it is. But what happens when the demand's really high and it's really hard to get, and it's really quite expensive, is that it makes more people want to get it. I was seeing the content. I was like, God damn, if I don't get a Taylor Swift ticket, I'm going to be absolutely raging. And I was just obsessed and just made it like my life's mission for like 3 weeks straight to try and get a ticket. And I did. And the other thing is that when you're there, and if anyone's been to Glastonbury, you'll totally understand this too, it feels so special and precious, and you feel so lucky to be there, to have been able to attain this unattainable thing, or this thing that isn't just readily available to anyone and everyone who asks. This thing that isn't just saying, oh yes, whatever, I've got a million, I've got a million of these, or this is super available. Is it, if you get it, it's like you've got the golden ticket. You are absolutely frigging over the moon, and you enjoy every second. You soak every last little bit of it up. So if you are making yourself available all the time, and I don't mean appointment-wise necessarily, because actually the people that I'm talking to really here are the people who are super, super booked, but I mean energetically making yourself available, squeezing people in to hours that fit them and not fit you. Like, absolutely, they don't fit you. Being available on Messenger, being available, where people go, well, I don't want to use your booking system, so I want to speak to you instead. Those sorts of things, being like more available than you would like, let's put it that way. Letting people fanny about with their appointments, letting people, dick you about with no consequence, like cancel, be late, no show, and there's no consequence to those things. It really devalues what you do. And it also, from the perception of the client, it devalues you, because they just think, well, I can do whatever I want. I can get in what I want, when I want. if I whinge enough, if I guilt trip you enough, if I, lean on the whole, oh, well, I've been coming to you for years, you'll just roll over and go, yeah, whatever. Like, yes, 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 yes. And with boundaries, I do a lot of work around boundaries. When you say yes to something, you say no to something else. Like time-wise, there's only one of you. You've not cloned yourself yet, sadly. And time is finite. And the work that you do with your clients is generally one-on-one work, perhaps one-on-two, if maybe if you do hair work back to back. So you, like everyone, gets 24 hours in a day, and when your 24 hours are gone, they are gone, and they will never, ever, ever come back. So when you say yes to your regular client because you feel like you owe them something, or you're worried that they'll leave or badmouth you or leave a bad review or whatever else kind of negative thing you feel leveraged over you, I want you to think about what you say no to when you're saying yes to that. You might be making money from doing that service, but trust me, you are paying a price. There is a price elsewhere that you are paying. And often it is a much higher price than the money that you are getting actually for doing that service in the longer term. You are paying the price physically, whether it's your aching back or your wrists or, oh, your neck needs a good crack and you've missed your lunch again, you're not sleeping, you're like 16 iced coffees deep. You have paid a price health-wise, physically you have paid a price. If you're like me, you end up in surgery and pay a price with a permanent scar and half of your disc missing. That was the price that I paid for many years of saying yes to people when I should have said no. You're paying the price emotionally because you're going home feeling resentful. You're annoyed that your client is willing to have you stay back. Like, what a dick they are for letting you work so late and for letting you miss your lunch. And by the way, you let them do that. Just saying. I'm not here to lie to you guys. Or you're feeling pissed off because you've become an unpaid debt collector, you're chasing money because someone didn't pay you or they didn't have the bank card or whatever other bollocks reason they had. Or you're chasing someone who didn't show up, or you are faffing about going back and forth trying to book appointments in because a person's claimed they don't want to use your booking system or whatever it is. You pay the price in relationships. You pay them whether it's because you've missed out on yet another event, a birthday, a wedding party, a hen do, you name it. Like, I missed a bunch of this stuff. Kids' milestones get missed. Partner's pissed off because you've already been out the house 11, 12 hours and then you come home and what's the first thing you do? Sit on your phone. Because you have to do messages now, and I have to do social media, and now this person needs you. So you're sat there, and you're working, like that you're working, but to them it looks like you've been at work all day. You come home and you're literally still at work, and that it causes rift, it causes clashes. Like, it becomes incredibly stressful and builds up a lot of resentment. You're paying the price financially, so yes, you're making money from doing that particular service, but you are not giving yourself the time that you need to do activities that make you more money down the line, or that might allow you to sort of break through this income ceiling or to leverage this time and make more money. So it might be things like implementing automations. Like, the amount of time people have said to me, I know how much a booking system would save me so much time. We know they save time. We know they make money. Like, a booking system will 100% cover the cost of itself from the reminder texts even. You can upsell through them. All of this stuff. We know that they work. But people don't set them up because they don't have time. They go, that takes a day. And because they can't give it a day, they're like, okay, it doesn't get done. So it's the cost. It's like the opportunity cost. Like, what is it cost for you to not have done that and not implemented that? How many more no-shows are you getting, or cancellations or reschedules because you don't have these automations? How much time are you spending back and forth, ping-ponging with clients over Messenger? That you don't have time to do a proper content strategy or social media or schedule posts. So you're not able to, if a space does become available, it feels like such a job to try and get a new person in because you're not marketing. You've got no time to do that either. Or maybe it's working on that side hustle or that thing that's been in the back of your mind on the back burner for God knows how long, that you think, God, if I just had the time to do that. You need to do a bit of research. You maybe need to set up a website. You maybe need to set up social media for that. You need to maybe read some books or go on a course or listen to some podcasts or work with a coach or a mentor or whatever. And you go, I've got no time to do that. And again, what are you missing out on by not creating that time in that present moment as well? So for an example, right, I've worked with 16 people so far in Breakthrough. And some of my Breakthrough bosses have gone on too, and I hope I don't forget anyone. One of them educates for a brand and assists on photo shoots. Another one coaches nail techs how to book photo shoots and work, get in magazines and big celeb photo shoots. Another one teaches people how to grow the business. Another one helps people who have done college education and bridges the gap and helps them get ready for the salon floor. Another one teaches vivid education. I'm certain that there will be more who've done very wonderful things. Plus, there's the non-business stuff as well. The things that they've been finally able to do because they've freed up some time without sacrificing those profits. So one of them bought the first home. I think another one's on their way to buying the first home. One of them, I love this, joined a luxury health club spa that they'd always thought was really out of their reach. They always thought, oh, that's really excessive and bougie and not something people like me do. And she joined it because she had the money and she had the time, and now she's going to gym classes. She's physically fitter. She feels better. She's showing up for a business 100%. She's doing spas left, right, and centre. And she's sitting with a laptop and getting a space away from work so she can really, do the strategic work and the creative work required to grow her business as well. So saying yes to these clients because they're a regular, because they've come to you for a long time, or whatever you feel like they've done for you, is saying no to so much more than you might think. And it just becomes this really perpetual sort of self-fulfilling cycle. And it feels even worse because there becomes this sense of, I'm doing it to myself. Why am I doing this to myself? I know better. I'm not doing better. I'm doing it to myself. And I'm missing out. I'm seeing all these other people doing cool stuff, getting these amazing opportunities, getting some time to work on these projects, taking them to X, Y, and Z, doing this thing, living the best life, traveling, whatever it is they're doing. And I'm stuck in this bloody Groundhog Day of just perpetual busy, client, just feeling like absolute shit. People are going to the next level, and it feels like Groundhog Day for you. It feels like you're just on this treadmill. So many people are telling me they look up, they finally get to breathe, like they're underwater, and they go, everything's exactly the same. Every week feels the same. Every month feels the same. And it feels like there's no progress, yet on the outside it looks like super successful because you're really busy. But it doesn't feel like growth. It doesn't feel like success. It doesn't feel like something that you're proud of. And when people go, oh, I wish I was in your position, you're like, dear hell, this is miserable. And this is exactly what you guys are telling me when I've been chatting to you. So think about this when you're next saying yes to something that really you don't want to say yes to. What am I saying no to? What am I missing out on? What am I delaying? And what opportunities am I losing to someone else by saying yes to this other thing? So this is why we work, like I mentioned before, in Breakthrough, we work on this principle of win-win-win, this kind of triangle, and we want to live right bang in the middle. That's where the magic is. So it's how do you get the best possible outcome for you, for your business, and for your client? And that is the lens that we look through as we progress right the way through the program together. So at the minute, it might be great for your client. Your client might be winning because you are willing to work on a Sunday night to get her ready for a hen do, or for whatever she's got that week, a holiday on a Monday. That is not a win for you because you're absolutely shattered. And it might not even be a win for your business because you might be knackered on the Monday, you might forget to pick up some stock, and it has this sort of domino effect because you're not really taking care of yourself, you're not thinking straight, you're not feeling super on top of things and organized. It might be good for your business that you're fully booked for 6 months, but you're absolutely shattered and you're struggling to stay on top of things. So you're losing out. And again, that might have an impact on other clients as well. So when you are operating from this sort of place of win-win-win, everything feels so much easier. Everything feels so much more aligned. There is no more resentment. There is no more dreading going to work and waking up and going, oh my God, I wish I was in Tesco. I'm going to start looking at jobs. I'm going to get on Indeed and read, and I'm going to find something else because this is not what I signed up for. We don't want any more of that. We aim for this really nice sweet spot, this win-win-win bang in the middle, because when you are there and everyone is winning, you show up in a completely different way. And a phrase that comes up a lot in with my clients in Breakthrough is I feel like my best self, showing up as my best self. And a lot of the time they haven't felt like that for a really long time. You'll feel this energetically, you'll feel this in your business, and very often you'll feel it in your personal life as well. You show up for your clients, but you also show up for yourself, and that means you can also show up for your friends and family as well. And you can also show up for these opportunities that you might currently be missing out on, things that are passing you by. You cannot do this if you are burning the candle at both ends, week in, week out. you are bullshitting yourself if you think that you can, and you truly deserve better than the situation that you're in now. And it is in your control. Like, I know sometimes it feels really hopeless, but it is absolutely in your control, and there is a way, 100% there is a way to get out of this. And also your clients deserve better. You definitely deserve better, but your clients deserve better as well. They want to see you at your best. They don't want to see you like bedraggled, like you've, taken up residence in a hedge, like you haven't seen a glass of water for the last decade. Like, your clients don't want to see you like that, and they don't really deserve to see you like that. And that's how we end up, turning up to work, because we're so shattered, eating Happy Meals at like midnight or whatever it is. My favorite was hummus, like midnight, because I was like, what can I eat in about 3 minutes? So it's not going to feel great for them. It's not going to feel good for you, and it's not going to feel good for the business. Okay, so if this is you, if you are booked out, if you are overwhelmed, if you are burning out, or way beyond burnout, if you are struggling to keep your plate spinning, or perhaps your plate is smashed all over the floor, you are missing out on opportunities. You keep thinking, once I just get a little bit more time, everything will be better. I'm telling you. If you dream of stepping out from behind the chair, or even just reducing the level of like the physicality required in your work, the thing that you actually need is time. That's the thing that you need above all else. But you need to free that time up in a way that feels incredibly safe. The last thing that you want now is to throw yourself into this frenzy, this sort of panic. You need to release this time while also feeling financially secure, where your income is still very predictable and very consistent. We don't want to see this massive drop, because it's going to make you feel 10 times worse. The last thing I want you to do, and this is where people go wrong when they sort of DIY it, is they go, oh, well, I'll just drop a Saturday. I'll just drop it. I'll just take out the diary. And then overnight you've just severed it a fifth of your income. That's bloody terrifying. You're spiraling into a panic. Your DMs are full of like crying faces, and it's, like meltdown city. That's not what we want. We don't work like that here. So this is exactly what we do inside Breakthrough. It's like this. That's my action. So what we want to do is kind of cross this thing over. So this is, let's call this your income, and let's call this your hours. And we want to do it really, really gently. We don't just drop the income and then go, shit, how do we, make some money? Like put the hours back up. Sorry, we don't just drop the hours and then panic about the money. We increase the money side, we increase profits, and we reduce lots of losses, lots of bottlenecks, lots of leaks. And I have never worked with a person where there is not like thousands and thousands of pounds worth of money escaping from the business, money not being retained, money sort of poorly spent, kind of not great money decisions. There are all these things that we can tighten up, and that's what we do. And we do that to create this sort of safety net, to create this buffer. And then, and only then, when it is safe to do so, we reduce those hours. So there is no spike, it shouldn't feel like this roller coaster. It should feel like this really, really nice kind of safe meet in the middle. And when that's done, so when we retain that money, when we bring that money in, and bear in mind, if someone in cohort 2 retained, we did the maths. I remember having a call, and all I was writing down was everyone's numbers. That wasn't even what we were meant to be talking about, but we got onto this topic of looking at what the equivalent of retained profits was in the business that was getting lost before. And someone's was, I think, £24,000 in a year. Incredible, but not surprising. It's quite common, actually. Someone on Facebook, even just this week, with my first 4 days of price increases, I feel happier, healthier, brighter, motivated. I'm able to give to my clients more than ever, but with less stress and more time, including giving myself time to cook proper meals from scratch, bake bread. This is giving me lockdown energy. I love it. And have longer appointment times. It is just incredible, isn't it? The energy completely changes when we get into this position. So we increase profits, we minimize losses, we plug these gaps and these leaks, we fix these bottlenecks. We also bring you a lot of time back. So we do automation, systems, processes to win as much time back, because the aim is you have as much time as humanly possible, you're making and keeping as much money as humanly possible. That's the aim of the game. And when we do this energetically, we're showing up for our clients 110%. And I actually guarantee that you drop a day. So the program's guaranteed. You have to show up. You have to do the work. Sadly, you can't just, enroll and then not. So if you follow my process, if you do it, if you put it into practice, it is proven. We see it work. Like I say, I've had I've worked with 2 cohorts. This is cohort 3. You will drop a day. I guarantee you that. And in many of the people I've worked with previously not only dropped 1 day less, but they dropped more. Some of them don't do any weekends, don't do any evenings, and like a day off in the middle. It's funny, you'll have a whole new problem, which is what do I do on a Wednesday afternoon? That's what we call a breakthrough problem. Plus, they have maintained their income. Some have made even more in just that current business. And like I say, many of them have gone on to do other things, as well as the business that they're doing at the moment, like with clients. And these are things that are very often leveraged, that are scalable, sort of passive, and things that can be done in a much less physical way, because a lot of them are sort of things they can do on the laptop, things they can do while they're traveling. So if this is you, if you are booked beyond busy, knackered, and you keep just thinking, I'll have some more time soon, eventually I'll have some more time, please just DM me the word busy. That's all you need to do, because you're a busy person. So I'm going to make you send me 4 letters in an inbox, ideally on Instagram if you can. It will also work on Facebook page. DM me the word busy, and I will send you a link with some information on how we can work together. You can have a read through, no pressure. Have a read through, see if it's a good fit for you. If it sounds like the kind of thing that you need, there is a link to fill in an application form. Fill that in. It just gives me some details to make sure you're a good fit. Because I obviously guarantee the program, it's really important for me to know that everyone who joins is in a good position, like in their business and all this, like you're in the right place, that it's going to work for you, and also that you're coachable, and also you're going to put the work in. And I want to get to know you, and I want to make sure that we're going to get on, and that you're going to get on with the people who've already enrolled, because we filled up some spaces already. The worst case is, I will say, I don't think it's a great fit right now, and I'll tell you why. And I will, if you want, make some suggestions as to how to get in a position that'll be a little bit better next time around. I'll not ring you. I'll not send double glazing salesman around. It is a very informal chat, so I can get to know you. I'll probably maybe ask a couple of questions just so I can get a good understanding of where you're at. And it will either be, yes, you can progress through the application process, or I don't think that it'll be a good fit for you right now. This is why, and this is what you could do if you want to join later. And, I'll always be open to, have a wait list and, pick back up with people down the line. Okay. So I don't need anyone to think, oh, I better not apply because you might say this and this. Like, it's me. In fact, I'm going to go the opposite. If I don't think you're a good fit, I will absolutely tell you, because I'm not going to guarantee it if, I'm not going to have you in if I'm not able to do my side of the thing, because I'm guaranteeing it, right? So it is not for everyone, but it may well be for you. It is probably for you if you are absolutely rammed, fully booked, and you want to drop a day safely, sustainably, for the long term, for good, without losing your shit, without losing a bunch of clients, without feeling guilty. And you want to do that feeling really supported by me, by your fellow cohort, and by the very wonderful Haley Jepson, who's a program coach inside. DM the word busy, and I'll pop you the info over. You'll get all the information to read. There's links on there for the application page. Fill that in, and I will pick up with you shortly. Thank you so much for your time watching this. Thank you to everyone who's messaged. Thank you to everyone who sent forms out. There are a lot of you. Honestly, there are so many more of you in this position than you guys in this position think there are. Everyone's like, oh, it's just me. No, it's not. Trust me. So I would absolutely love to have a chat with you. Always a pleasure. I will be back probably tomorrow, maybe the day after. Who knows? I'll chat with you in a bit, but I will see you in the DMs in the meantime. Right. Love you and leave these bosses. Catch you in a bit. Bye.